What's up everyone? My name's Ron and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about, behind me, my 2009 BMW G650GS. I bought it in July of 2009. It's just been a little bit over 10 years. Actually, it's just under 11 years, I guess. And I wanted to share my thoughts on it 10 years later. What I like, what I didn't like, and what I thought was just plain overpriced. So let's hop into that. Let's start from the top down. You know, I kept the stock mirrors. Before I bought this bike, a lot of people complained about them, that they shake and they distort. But to be honest with you, I mean, it is you know, classified as more of an adventure bike after all. So I don't really know what people expect out of a set of mirrors on a bike that may or may not have you know, dirt-oriented tires on it. So, you know, if you're one of those people, maybe a, you know, Sportster, you know, something like that might be the correct bike for you. Actually, if you want to talk about a shaker. In any case, we're not here to offend anyone. But moving on, so stock mirrors. This tank bag's Wolfman Expedition. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. They don't sell it anymore. They have a new variant of it. I'm sure it's good. This one's amazing. I use this to keep anything that I don't want possibly getting wet, i.e. my cell phone, you know, anything sensitive like that. It's also nice because if you know, cartwheel, the closer your communication device is to you, the better. So that's that. This bag I bought, this was actually the first bag I bought. This is a Cortech. I don't know which model, but it has served me quite well. It holds actually a lot of stuff. It has a rain jacket. I've never actually used it. If you look, you can kind of see, let's get down deep into it. You can see kind of a white texture to it. So what that actually is I can't remember what the product's called. They sell it or sold it at Home Depot. It was a hydrophobic product that you could spray on virtually anything and waterproof it. And so I did that to this bag. Like I say, I can't remember. It ran a few years without it, and then, like I say, when that stuff came out, I grabbed it and hosed this thing down and kind of called it a day. So, but I like that bag. It wasn't very expensive. It does its job. It's not really waterproof. Let's talk about these boxes here. I can't remember what I paid for them. I'm pretty sure I paid right around $600 for them from BMW. I don't think they're worth it. You know, in my opinion, I'm pretty disappointed in those boxes. I think the first day I got them, there's little rubber feet. Now I'm sure I'll insert, you know, in here. There were little rubber feet that were on the bottom of the box, and literally the day I bought them, one of the boxes, one of the feet fell off, and in that time, this box here has lost one rubber foot. The other side has lost both of them. So I mean, I should have probably complained. I didn't. That's my bad. I probably wouldn't make that mistake twice. On the other hand, I probably would just go look at you know, like Touratech or, you know, make my own out of Pelicans or something like that. So these boxes they're plastic box primarily. The front of it, I guess you'd call it, does have a aluminum, I think it's aluminum, maybe it's not, I don't know, but it feels like it might be aluminum. I don't know, it doesn't really matter, whatever it is. I will say that portion has survived some things, but I still don't think they're worth it compared to some of the other products on the market from other providers. I don't think BMW's got this one nailed down yet. Let's see here. Probably the next thing we'll talk about, my headlight. So now keep in mind, this predated LEDs and stuff like that going into your headlights. So at this time the hot thing was HIDs, high intensity discharge lights, and so I have one of those in here. It's not worth mentioning where I got it from because the company doesn't exist anymore. It was kind of pricey. It's ridiculously bright to the point where I'm kind of surprised nobody stops me for it, but I will say it does its job quite well. That said, nowadays I would either just do secondary lights or I would get an LED because it's a far simpler system. This was a really complicated thing to install, for a headlight, I mean, and you know, just trying to find where to stuff everything was, you know, just, I wouldn't say annoying. It's just more than it needs to be, you know, in this day and age. So don't look that way. Two items that are more personal preference, in my opinion, with basically any bike. The windshield. So on my G650, I have the stock windshield. I guess that I never really thought about changing it. I don't know. It's one of those deals where maybe if I was riding at faster speeds, that would matter. I'm sure the fact that I'm short makes it easier for me to survive with the stock windshield. I guess in my opinion, if you take a tumble off road, what's the most likely thing to break? The mirrors and the windshield. So I guess that was why I never really could justify changing my windshield. So my stock one has plenty of war wounds on it, so I don't know. If I were putting on a lot of highway miles at a lot of high speeds, if it were affecting my helmet with the roost guard, I would probably make the change, but it hasn't really bothered me to this point, so I don't know. It's one of those things that I guess I never really worried about. And then the seat. I have the stock seat. It is you'll become uncomfortable on the seat before you'll run out of fuel. So I don't know why I never changed it. I have looked at several seat options, seat concepts, guys like that. It hasn't quite been enough, especially if you ride dirt bikes. I mean, those things are like riding on 2x4s, so it's significantly better than that. That being said, if I were to start riding a lot of miles again, I would probably just go and get something from Seat Concepts or one of those companies. There's all kinds of options. Like I say, that's personal preference. There are so many options out there for you to pick from. I won't pull it apart because it's actually ridiculously hard to get back together, but I do run a K&N air filter in it. like I say, heaven help you when you get that thing apart. Again, I guess it wouldn't be a BMW if it wasn't difficult to do something, but that definitely can be a little bit challenging sometimes to get back together once you pull it apart to service your air filter. Moving on. So this was something that I was having trouble with stuff getting in my my seals, and I didn't like that, obviously. So I researched this, and I think it was on the Chain Gang, and a lot of people were getting hate from BMW service centers because they didn't, a lot of people were using the alligator, what do you call them? I don't know. You get what I'm saying. And BMW was saying that those did not let enough airflow into the radiators, which I guess, you know, I find kind of hard to believe. But, you know, I wasn't going to take any chances, so instead I think somebody linked these in one of the forum posts, and so I looked at them and I thought I'd try them, and that's what I use. I've had them for a long time now. If you look around on my channel, you'll actually find an install video for them. I think they work real well. They do the job. You can see they're still holding up. They haven't fallen apart. They don't really fall off the bike. And no problems with them. They weren't very expensive. Good mod. I am definitely a fan of that. Now, these are Touratech, you know, radiator guards, fairing guards. I can't remember what exactly they refer to them as in the magazine, but I actually found these used on Adventure Rider. They really didn't appear to be used at all when I got them. I've since used the hell out of them. This one doesn't, I don't know, maybe neither of them show it really, but they people have been concerned that this area here would bend into the machine, and I've taken some pretty good hits, and so far, I mean, they do obviously they have a little give to them, but they haven't gone anywhere. So I mean, I guess somebody could worry about it, but I've taken some pretty hard hits, and I feel like they've passed what's expected of them. So I think they're a good mod. I think they're an even better mod if you can find them used like I did. So that was a good find, I won't lie. Yeah, here you go. See this one, you can see it. This one has some scratches, but the powder coating must be pretty good, because I'm pretty impressed that the other side doesn't have anything, because I know that side's been clopped pretty hard. So all right, so this is another one kind of go along with the headlight, and this, I'll show it to you. Good luck trying to find it, because I'm sure it came from China. Good, like I say, I'm pretty sure I got it off eBay. That was all the rage back in the day, and it works. It does its job. That's about all I can ask of it. But yeah, here's this tail light here. It's an LED tail light. Actually, this was, if I had to complain about something I've seen in this bike so far from BMW, so the tail light is attached, the electrics are attached under here, and the BMW for a company that was so quick to come out with CAN bus systems, this was not very confidence inspiring when I dug into it. It was, I don't know if there was even a plug. It was really stupid. Now there's an actual like a WeatherTech plug in there, so I definitely improved it. But yeah, I don't know, that BMW kind of cheaped out there. So, and now, like I say, to tell you the truth, in this day and age with LEDs being so easy to get a hold of and working so well, I would probably just get an LED bulb and either a clear tail light or something like that, instead of trying to find what I have here. Also, it doesn't really matter. I use Amsoil products. Basically, all my Powersports stuff has Amsoil in it. In Wisconsin, you know, you can drive to every other driveway and you'll find an Amsoil provider. So it is a Wisconsin product after all. So that's kind of why I choose to do that. I'd use Mobile One. I can't ever find Mobile One. I can find Amsoil. So we're gonna have to back up a little bit. So handguards. These are the factory handguards. They came stock with the bike. All these bikes came with handguards and heated hand grips. Heated hand grips, I would never go without heated hand grips on most of my things. My ATV has it. I wouldn't buy it without it. And the same with any kind of bike like this, I would definitely get heated grips. Wouldn't think twice about it. Good mod. These handguards have held up good. You can see they've seen things as well. I don't know how I feel about them. They're not I mean, you can see they're definitely not solid units. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Personally, I never did do it, but some bark busters might be nice. The biggest problem you have is, you know, how many complications you have over here on the handlebars. That kind of leads to making it hard to mount other options. You know, I don't know. Like I say, I've never done it. If it were me again, and maybe someday I will, I would probably look at bark busters or something like that to change them out. Just, I don't know, something a little bit tougher. Let's go down low, I guess. So the factory came with, it came from the factory with Metzler Torrances, I think, and good street tire. Couldn't do anything with it when you started to get into any kind of mud on the trail, anything like that. They were a pretty useless tire. So I stuck with them though, and I finally wore them out. And right now I have Heideneau K60s. So that's what I'm running front and rear. The front's in pretty good shape. I could probably get probably another rear out of it. The rear is pretty low, I think. So maybe, I guess I could be a cheapskate and go for a little while, but they're not going to be doing me much good for anything really. So like I say, they're going to be less than ideal for traction, in my opinion, at this stage. But great tire for, you know, like this stuff here, which is most of what Wisconsin trails are like, in the state forest and even in the national. Maybe a little bit more gravel in spots, but a lot of them are just 2-track with a lot of grass. This bike is quite good at that. These tires are good on that. They aren't good on sand. they don't work very good on sand. On the other hand, this bike weighs 400 and something pounds. The bike isn't very good on sand. So, you know, that's kind of one of those things where lipstick on a pig scenario, you know, what are you gonna do? So skid plates, I had the factory, I guess it was aluminum. It was a piece of tin. I mean, literally, I had it on here for so long. I don't know why I kept it, because it was a piece of garbage. And I'll insert some video in here, and you know, to show you what I found one day riding around. I happened to catch a stick, not a stick, you know, it's probably not a stick like that, probably a stick like this, you know, it's probably a good 2 or 3 inches around, that kind of a stick, and it got wedged in between my chassis and my skid plate. And the reason it did that is because my skid plate can flex. So after I saw that, I was not having any more of that. I don't want to lose an engine case over something so silly. I mean, there's just no reason for it. So I can't believe BMW put such a, well, yeah, I can. They put a real, it's crap. Don't use it. Replace that first thing. The other thing I did pay for, I bought it when I bought the bike, was that cage that goes on up here and then wraps around the factory skid plate. And I wouldn't say I'm disappointed with that. That actually took quite a few hits. It saved my engine cases on a couple occasions. But it does reduce ground clearance because it is tube and it's going underneath the skid plate to kind of shore up that, like I say, that little cheap piece of crap. And it really, if you have to pay extra for it, don't pay for it. This is what I run now. I did a lot of research. I looked at so many skid plates, and I decided on this one. It's a Happy Trails Products skid plate. All this stuff I'll put links in the description. But this thing is so nice. It's 3/16 material, real solid construction. So you know, it's kind of hard to show you the welds, but the welds are extremely impressive. I think I have some video of this thing before I installed it, but it protects your electrics and all that good stuff quite well. I think it's solid. It's taken a rock hit. I actually have video of that too. Well, there's a new skid plate working for me. I can't recommend this enough. This thing, see right here, right down here, there's 4 mounts over that mount to the chassis. There are no mounts on the BMW skid, so it just flops. It's loose. So, and it lets you, you know, a stick can get right up in there and there's nothing stopping it. Moving on. So this is a Touratech, what they call chain guard. I'm trying to think if I might have bought that new. I can't remember. I like it. I don't know, Touratech, all their stuff is kind of a premium, but that said, the factory plastic jobby that went over the chain and primary here, it always packed with garbage, and so I got rid of it because you can't clean it. You have to pull it off. Well, if I have to pull it off, then I might as well just pull it off and throw it away and use something good, so that I could actually get in here and make sure everything's clean and actually protects my cases and not like the factory one. So anyway, that's the story with that. One particular nasty hit, that's, like I said, that's why I can't believe these don't have any damage to them. I bent the hell out of my foot pedal here, and so, you know, I decided to pick up this one. This is a Touratech unit again. It's a little spendy, but I haven't had a problem with it since. So yeah, I don't know, good mod in my opinion. The foot pegs, I never replaced these foot pegs. These are the factory foot pegs. They came with a rubber insert that's freaking terrible, by the way. First thing you do if you buy one of these, if you see those in it, and these haven't changed much. The newer G650GSs look different, but they're largely the same bike. These pegs are terrible, and I was going to replace them with, I want to say pivot pegs. I can't remember. They were from Australia, and there was a back order on them for several months. So that's why these are still on here, is I kind of forgot to order them, if I'm being really honest. So, little rear brake master cylinder guard. I just ordered it to protect it. No particular reason. I don't know how much protection it actually does, but I figured why not. Let's hear this skid plate. And I can't get low enough to really give you a good view of it. I'll link other video. So this skid plate is from Kildala. He's a guy on, I think it was the Chain Gang forums that was making these skid plates for the center stand. And when I picked up this Happy Trails skid, I kind of wanted to extend my protection, because I've had actually quite a bit of stuff get up in between my center stand too. So I thought it was a good idea, so I bought one. I think both these skid plates are a really good mod. I would do it. I would do it over again for sure. So let's talk about the bike itself. When I went to buy this bike, I was actually, I had done everything but sign the papers for a F800GS. It was the first year of them. This is my first bike, so like I say, I was all about getting that F800. That bike looked amazing. But anyway, I was talking to my dad about it one day, and he really didn't like the idea of me getting that as my first bike. In retrospect, I can't say I blame him, because it's a lot of bike. That was a lot of bike, and I'm short. I have a 30-inch inseam, and you know, now it's probably not as big of a deal for me, but I'm still get a little, it's not so bad off-road. But when you're trying to stop at stoplights and one foot it with all kinds of traffic coming at you, that can get a little freaky sometimes. And so this bike, I don't have that problem. I can touch both feet on the ground, which is nice. It does come at the expense. This bike, I mean, it has some ground clearance, but it's no dirt bike, you know. So if you're planning on doing some pretty crazy riding, you might want to look at a different bike. It's just it'll do a lot of things. I'm sure you've seen plenty of people like Simon Pavey do incredible things with these bikes. The limit is probably more the rider than the bike, but that being said, you know, the height difference can play a factor. So anyway, so with this bike, it's been pretty trouble-free, I gotta be honest. I've not had very many. The only thing I will tell you, and this is something that apparently BMW knows about, I've asked dealers about it. They seem to know about it. Nobody tells you about it before you buy them, obviously, but every once in a while they just don't want to idle. It'll be fine, and then all of a sudden you'll be going along and it will not stay idled. And it's, like I say, this kind of goes in hand with that stopping at stoplights, because if you stop at a red and it's instantly green and you're bike dies. Well, now you're trying to start a bike, while meanwhile behind you there's a 18-wheeler that's doing 55 coming down a hill. That's a little upsetting at times. The way I've found to deal with it is go find somewhere to park for like 10 minutes and sit there and turn the key off, and for whatever reason the bike it like resets its fuel injection or something. Supposedly that's what I'm told, and I mean it seems to work, because after that it seems to run fine. I run only premium in this thing. I try and avoid any ethanol, which up here isn't too bad. In Minocqua, Milwaukee, that can be a bit of a different story. Really, the only other quirk that I can think of is trying to find a set of tires, a matching set, which I don't know. I'm probably worry about that more than most people, or I even should. But with the 17-inch rear, 19 front can be a pain in the neck, because like I say, you have to kind of do some research on tires when you want to get something more aggressive. But you know, I'm sure that that stuff's come a long way. There's a lot of newer manufacturers out there now to get tires from. So suspension, we'll talk about suspension. The suspension, I mean, it's serviceable. It is what it is. This isn't the most expensive Beamer in the world, obviously. I think it works fairly well for what it is. I'm sure if I talked to MrDuhfactor, he could get a lot more out of it. I think there are options for rear shocks anyway. I think there's an Ohlins shock that you can put on it if you want something different. But I don't know. I mean, it's fine. So it's adjustable in the rear also. Like I say, there's you know, you can play with that stuff. These are more limited than most bikes, I think, but you can still do things with them. So boy, I wish. The only other thing that quirk that I would kind of put this bike under is serviceability. I'm sure there are geniuses out there that could do the valve job on this. I looked up a how-to on how to do the valve adjusting on this bike, and I came away pretty well convinced that I'm never going to do a valve adjustment on this bike. It looks scary. So serviceability, even like I say, getting back to the air filter, I don't know why that air box is such a pain in the neck to put back together, but it's not fun. Let's see here what I liked about it. So one of the reasons why I still have this bike, and I've thought about, I was very close to buying that Husqvarna TR650 Terra. That thing, like I say, I like so much about this bike, if I'm really honest, and that Terra takes this bike and then just shaves some things off of it that really aren't necessary, like the possum scraper and stuff like that. That bike, like I say, I don't know why I didn't buy it. I just, one day I didn't go down and finish up, and that was kind of the end of it. And then BMW sold Husky. The main reason why I like this bike so much is because it will do pretty reasonable off-roading, and there's a lot of it up here. There isn't a lot of the nearest interstate's over an hour away. So the highest speed limit you're going to find around here is 55 miles an hour. So, I mean, power isn't really a factor. It will do 100. I don't need to be doing 100. Supposedly you'll do 110. I don't know. I've done 100. I won't say where, but it will hit that. And boy, isn't that nice, huh? Let's just take that in a minute. I'm just surrounded by frogs. In any case, so the things I like about the bike, the power's good for what it is. It's actually a really smooth bike. It's one of the smoothest big singles I've ever played with. The fuel mileage, that honestly is most of why I haven't sold this bike and why I really struggle with the idea of selling it, because it is, I can go from here, Minocqua, to Milwaukee, which is, I don't know, I think 300 miles away, on a tank of fuel, and I can get down by Mequon and my light will come on. So, you know, it's definitely, it's in the high 60s and into the 70s for fuel economy. That's pretty amazing. I cannot complain about that. I don't have trouble, like I say, up here. Minocqua is obviously pretty well populated. You head out towards the Park Falls area and further west that way, and you're in a lot of nothing for a long time. So, and that makes me nervous on a bike, especially out in the woods, because you don't know what you're using for fuel. You know, you can assume, but it's, you know, there's no, the only gauge you have is when the light comes on. So knowing that I have that kind of fuel economy, you know, I have confidence to ride pretty far. So like I say, northern Wisconsin and the UP, there's a lot of expanse of nothing. So not having to worry about packing fuel, that you know, that has weighed so much on that has weighed a lot on my decision with keeping this bike over I mean, I really like, now I probably wouldn't buy a F800 now. I'd probably just go right to the R1200s, but you know, going from what, 60-70 miles a gallon to, I think they're at like 42 or 48. I don't know, I haven't checked in a while, but I think the last time I looked, the F800 was 48, the R1200 was 42, and that's a big change. So again, another benefit actually, in my opinion, on the road, the lower seat height. I think that is really nice when you're dealing with sudden starts and stops, and you know, just other traffic. You don't know what other people are going to do. So for me, especially for my first bike, that gave me a lot of confidence. Now I could probably deal with it, but at the time I'm kind of glad that I went with that. A lot of people complain about ABS. It's saved me a few times, especially out in North Carolina. Some of the roads out there are they're some kind of wonderful. You'll be going along and like they'll like half patch roads where they'll leave the old pavement on like the outside, and they'll do a patch strip all the way down the road on the inside half of the lane. And just I mean, that stuff will, for whatever reason, it does quirky things with brakes. And then the other thing you have to look out for, you know, in western North Carolina, there's a lot of limestone on the roads and stuff like that, and that's tripped my anti-lock more times than I could probably count. And you know, it's stuff where I wouldn't, a lot of times you can't even see it. So, but it will screw with the brakes, and sometimes it's nice to have. So other than that, the aftermarket is really good for these bikes. whether you're looking for luggage or like these skid plates. I mean, there's quite a few companies that carry these things. So that's a huge. That was one of the reasons why I didn't like that TR650 Terra. The factory skid plate, it didn't come with a skid plate, and the one that they designed from the factory, one, you couldn't get them yet, and two, they were about as chintzy as the BMW, the one for the G650. So, and Touratech was working on one. You know, I know they came out with one. I don't know what it looks like, because by that time I kind of passed on the bike. But you know, that was one of the reasons why I didn't get that bike, was because they're, you know, they didn't really have it around long enough to justify support. So it's a real shame. I guess the other pros to go along with this bike are that, like I say, it's been an established platform for a long time. You know, maybe not quite as long as the KLRs, but you know, not far. So they're pretty, you know, people kind of know what to expect. They're pretty much a bulletproof bike. I think the most common problem is, I think, eventually your water pump, but it lets you know long before it's going to go out. So, you know, I haven't had that problem, thankfully, but I think that's the most common thing I've read on for, you know, what happens with these bikes. So, you know, a lot of people have, you know, hundreds of thousands of miles on them without much trouble. So that, I mean, that's kind of sold it for me there. It's I mean, it's not a light bike, but it's, like I say, it's no R1200 either. So it is kind of, you know, slightly more flickable in a way, I think. So, but that's what's going on here. That's my my 09 BMW G650GS 11 years later. So if you found this helpful, let me know. If you have one of these bikes, let me know your thoughts on it. I'd love to hear from other people about these bikes. If you're interested in either this generation of bike or the newer ones, like I say, the newer ones are still largely the same. They different plastics, but a lot of it's the same stuff. So you know, let me know what you think. But yeah, so I guess I'll end this here. So hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, of course. But most of all, have fun, and I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you next video. All right, take care. Bye.